And you've obviously you've been through quite a few lineups of the Fall over the years. How do you go about recruiting?
That's right. This group's about a generation younger than me, which I think is a good idea.
Yeah. And how do you go about recruiting new musicians?
They can't be Fall fans.
Oh, really? And how do you find that out?
It's easy.
Yeah. And why?
I mean, the guitarist and the bass player were about 7 years old when my first record came out. You know.
So not being Fall fans means that they're not going to try and imitate what went before?
It's good, because I don't like musicians in a lot of ways, you know. It's rock musicians, you know, I don't particularly fond of them. You know. I don't like to socialise with them or anything like that.
How do you actually write your songs? Obviously, you write the words, but when it comes to the music, how do you actually put these songs together? Do you play the guitar, for instance?
I used to, but I gave it up when I used to play the piano as well. But I stopped. Because I'm sort of very in the atonal, you know. Mm-hmm. I sort of dislearnt a lot of things.
So the structures of your songs, where do they come from then?
I do the structures. I whistle and things like that into a tape recorder and play it, the group. But that's only 50% of the work. The other 50% is tunes that are put forward by the group. And so which is very interesting. See, if they're not Fall fans, they're not going to give me a. I mean, you wouldn't believe the rubbish I get. You know, like get like sub Pink Floyd, Eric Clapton stuff from them, the young kids. That's surprising.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like punk never happened.
That's right. That's right. Oh, yeah. They play the dad's music.
Yeah.
So I've started playing the keyboards a lot, but I don't know. Yeah, we are the Fall, and we are the best.
But know what I was thinking about is how Mark E. Smith had multiple jobs before basically becoming, front man of the Fall, leader of the Fall, full time for the rest of his life. And I was thinking about it, like he had a couple of jobs, right? We know that he worked at the docks. He also had a short job I had to get Danny to look it up for me, but he had a short job at a factory for a while, and I think it was like for 1 day or for 1 week, and then he got fired for showing up late or not showing up. And I was just thinking, how would those experiences kind of inform the way that he thinks about the band members leaving? And I think that it's almost like I'm just like totally making assumptions here, but I think that Mark had it was like a little kind of a stone dropping in a pond, like a small little reaction of him having to leave a position, that it wasn't a big deal. And I think that he might have also projected that, like the band members at certain points that were leaving or had to fire them or even just leaving, like the dudes, right? They're just like, no, we're not gonna, they can't make it happen. He's like, okay, well, it's not a huge thing. I'm just gonna move on. And I got Peter Greenway coming in full time. I got Dave Spur. He's got the next batch in. I think
I don't know.
No?
I mean, the fact that he had to write Dave Bush a letter, he couldn't even fire him in person. Like, there shows some level of.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that was I don't give a shit about you thing. I think it was a guilt thing where he was like, I can't even face him and tell him man to man that I'm gonna let him go. Like, here's a letter.
Yeah. Maybe that is like the interaction to get the job done, right? Like you could also see he went to a pub and like bought pints for like the band, and not one. I'm just forgetting who it was, but maybe it was even Dave too. It's like not buy that person a pint, right? And then that's
Yeah.
the way you tell them you're not in the band, which is, that's a real shitty thing to do too. But I'm not even talking about that so much, or I'm not as intrigued by that. But I'm also just thinking, I don't know if he was really. He obviously knew that the being in the group meant a lot for almost everyone that was a part of the group for whatever duration. I just don't think that he felt like it was a very drastic kind of like it's going to throw them off for the rest of their lives
Oh,
being
the
removed.
people. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
mean, I think he very much, for a lot of it, put his boss hat on. The stereotypical just boss. Like they're gonna tell you we're all
Yeah.
a family here. We make
Hmm.
sacrifices for each other. You can come in on your day off, right? We're all a family. And then the moment you
Yeah.
quit, you die, you do something that screws up, they fire you, and there's a new guy in your chair within a couple days, and
Yeah.
nobody really cares. Like, yeah, not quite the family we thought we were,
Yeah.
huh? Um,
Yeah, that's what it is. It's like it's hard to do the balancing act of where is it's like with everything in the fall, it's all a gray zone. And where is when am I off duty, right? When am I off the clock? And it's like I don't know if you ever are because you're getting paid in the pub, right? You have to go to the pub to get paid. So that's also a work environment too. Like it's so intriguing the way that this like the cog sinister machine worked, whereas like you're always involved. Like you would have to pick up Mark randomly on the weekend and like go pick him up. That's part of your job too. It's just like really, that's really, I don't know. That's what I'm getting at. But also, it's interesting because we're getting into this album, 2008's Imperial Wax Solvent. The dudes didn't make it on this one, even though there is residual dude songwriting that doesn't get credited really. So we gotta think about it in terms of that too. There is carryover of the effect of that, but then also the band members that are involved in the tracking of this album are basically already embedded in the band when they go to record this album, right? So, who do we got, Steve?
Marky Smith, Peter Greenway on guitars,
Mm,
David Spur on bass,
yeah.
Kieran Melling on the drums, Eleni Palu on keyboards and vocals.
Yeah. What do you feel about this lineup and the sounds that they're getting together?
I I liked the whole thing. I thought it rocked pretty hard throughout it. There's a couple off tracks that are in there. Torrid, which is just like I don't even
Oh,
really know
yeah.
what it is not right smack dab in the middle. Just not a sound you hear out of them too much.
Yeah, I like that. I like that one, but we'll get to that one. I like that one. It's not there are interesting, like you're saying, like sounds on this one where you're like, it's a little bit different, but a little bit the same. And also, when I was listening to this one or diving into it, know what this album reminds me of? Another one that's kind of not that far off, but the Real New Fall LP. And I think there's something to it that's like it has an edge to it that is the band with the energy, with the drive, with the focus, but then I don't know if I mean, I don't think the songs are as strong as that album, but I think that there's something to it where the band is having fun again, and I think it is kind of the carryover of having the dudes in the band, Tim Presley, Rob, Orfeo in the band, and then they've all played together with this group, and there's some sort of, like, contact high that they got from those guys, and it kinda just carried over, and it's I'm not putting it all on them as why this is a really interesting album, but it's kind of like they just got a new kind of second wind from that group. Having 2 bass
Yeah,
players, having 2 drummers, I mean, come on, 2 guitar
yeah, and
players.
they did. It is kind of a reformation, like the new Real Fall was, where
Yeah,
okay, we're gonna take a step out and come back, and we're gonna do it again. Like this
mhm,
isn't. We're not limping to the finish line. We're gonna put out a product that we're proud of and that we want to sound good. And
yeah,
I mean, this is it. This is the lineup through the end. So
Pretty much. I mean,
Pretty
this
much,
is
yeah. I
pretty
mean,
much. But you're right. This is like they locked in and they're like, we got something here. Let's keep rolling with this. It would have been interesting if they continued on, even with Tim and Robin Orfeo in the band for this album, because I think it would have been even more interesting with a couple more layers of guitars and bass, and even Rob bringing his production skills to an album like this. I think it would have been more psychedelic. I think they would have gotten a little bit more of that darker my love like influence, even though I know those guys weren't like bringing that directly. I think that would have been more interesting. I mean, like elevated it a little bit more, but there's
yeah, I
something
think
about this.
the longer they were in, the more that at least they would have had to experiment more
Yeah.
and kind
Yeah.
of make sounds that maybe Mark wasn't asking for but would have liked. Because I
Yeah.
mean, listening to Tim talk about it, he was like, "Yeah, I just did what he asked me to do," and you're like, "Well,
Yeah. He's like,
you
it's not
don't."
my band.
Yeah, he's like, "You don't
I'll do what he
necessarily
says. Yeah.
wanna put a, you know, a nut you don't want too many kind of creative geniuses in one little box that are following one direction, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's why I think that they were having so much fun because it wasn't their musical centerpiece. It for them, it was like an experience in itself. And because they had
exactly, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
A side gig where you're just following the rules, like, yeah, I can.
yeah.
You don't wanna do
I
that job for that long, but
yeah.
sometimes take the load off your mind. It really lets it wander to interesting places while you're working.
Oh, totally, totally. Even the thought process of I don't I don't have to or I'm not being forced to follow these rules. I get to follow these rules. Like I get to follow the rules of the fall, right? It's probably was so fun and intriguing for them to get into that headspace. And in a case like the Reformation post TLC, which seemed like they made that really fast. Like they wrote it really fast. They some of the songs you're like, oh, it's just sounds so immediate that I feel like if they had more time, if they were in this situation with this Imperial Wax Solvent album, which even sounds more fall like, and I don't even know, like you're saying, like they might have even gone like a little bit more outside, stretched the fall muscle a little bit. I think that they could have even gone maybe it was another album after this if they were still involved where they could have gone like extreme fall like they would go like extreme fall sound and see if they can make an album that was like extremely mark centered even more so than usual and the band being extremely hypnotically repetitive like early songs or even maybe even getting into some like Dragnet style Angular. Yeah, I think that would have been cool too. But we got this album, Steve, and this was recorded, I should say, it was produced by Marky Smith, Grant Showbiz, Andy Toma, and Tim Gracieland Baxter, and recorded at, of course, their favorite, Gracieland Studio, and also at the Mouse on Mars studio, which is very fitting because we're going to get into the Mouse on Mars collaboration with Marky Smith, the Von Studenfeld, very soon. But Steve, let's talk a little bit about the two versions.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know the story behind it? I've listened to them both and enjoyed them. I don't know why there's 2.
Yeah, so basically the short way summary of it is Grant Showbiz came up with this mix, right? And he thought it sounded really good. Mark's like, I don't like that mix. It's kind of the age old story. Mark's like, I don't like that
Sure.
mix. Gonna remix it. It's gonna be that way. Grant still thinks it sounds good. The Grant Showbiz version, I gotta say, I've listened to both multiple times too, and I would be interested to hear what you have to say about it. I don't hear that much difference besides the edge seems take the mix is different, obviously, on the Grand Showbiz one, where the mix is kinda, like, less trebly and less it has less of an edge to it, and so I think a lot of people say that it has less energy, which usually happens when you cut off some of the top end, but I feel like it's kind of more of a meshed together mix, and also Grant does some editing where he cuts down some track lengths, and
Yeah.
the track order is also different, which is interesting.
Yeah,
too.
I didn't. That is the track. I didn't look at the actual.
Mhm.
That track order is correct. Yeah, it's totally messed up. And yeah, I didn't mind some of the shortened songs. Not
Yeah.
to say that the long ones weren't good, but
I think
better.
that's what you pay for a producer with the fall is the tasteful edits of the editing it down a track where you
Sure.
don't need it to be that long. But then at the same time, I gotta say, I think that Mark was, for my personal listening taste, I think Mark's mix version is much better because it does have that kind of big full sound where everything is kind of cutting against each other and like present. And you don't always get that on a fall album. And when you do like this, I'm like, shit, that fucking rips through my headphones in a great way.
Yeah, for only being five people in the band currently, it is loud
Yeah.
and intense.
Yeah, it is. And it's got every kind of cadence to a fall album. And it also has the fall humor in there. And it also has the fall having fun in there. And it's all good. So let's get into this. And we can talk more about the different mixes as it goes through because you got to listen to both. Like you just have to listen to both. Steve, what is going to lead us off here?
We're gonna start with Alton Towers.
The waves through the slits in San Rocco look very different and are no longer anyway sublime. How to get out? How to stay still? The spawn of J-loaded brown and Elevon round. The crows look very different today, and the crows are not reflected any form of quality at all. On the saint of advertisers, yeah. How to get in? How to get out? The spawn of J-loaded brown.
Now, Steve, I take it he's not talking about Alton, Illinois.
I believe there's some towers. They're sister cities.
Yeah, because there are they're corn, or they're like a corn what are they? They're like some sort of industrial towers too. They're processing plant towers. So, but I don't think he's talking about that here. But this is an interesting choice for a leadoff track. I love those horns, that those horn sounds that are in that is like really disturbing. It's like really, I don't know. It's like a jazz club that's not open yet, and also the guys are not really professional jazz musicians playing on this stage.
Or just like even it's got the eeriness too. Maybe just ghosts playing the horns, just getting the last breaths out of them. The rest of the album picks up pace, and this is just kind of a slow meander. I mean, but it's got all the best Mark lines. I mean,
It does.
Grey Decline and Excelsius. I mean, we love Latin. We got a bunch of random people thrown in talking about crows. I mean, it definitely hasn't. We haven't got lyrics like this in a little while, so it's fun him to paint us a picture like this again.
Yeah, how to get out, how to stay thin, the spawn of J loaded brown. That's I believe that's like a a diss on James Brown, the Loaded magazine editor, writer. Yeah, okay. So that's the
Yeah,
guy that did a great interview with Mark where Mark was just taking the piss out of him the entire time, which is we've gone through before, but it's always a good interview to revisit to see Mark at his most cutting
yeah,
when
and
he doesn't like
he
it.
always kind of shits on those dude magazines, right? Like the
The
young
lad
guy,
bags. Yeah, they said the lad
like
bags. Yeah.
yeah, he just I think he just drivel, right? He's just like you're just ruining a population of young men who should be reading something of higher quality than this shit.
Yeah, we already know Mark was anti-pornography, so it's like that's like on the cusp of like going into the realm. So Mark was definitely not a get like that lifestyle magazine. Like that's he thinks that's like just pure, like shallow stuff. And so it's fun to hear him do that. It's like to put a guy's name in there, like that guy. I mean, James Brown. I know he's still doing stuff, but it's kind of fun to have your name in a fall song, even if you are getting if he's talking about your
Well, and
spine.
it's I was gonna say it's not even him. He's
Mm,
almost shitting on all the young guys that are
yeah.
probably, the young people he's seeing around now, like the kids who grew up reading these magazines and are now just these moms that are crawling around.
Yeah, and then he also says Elle Laverne. Do you know about Elle Laverne?
She is
Oh,
British DJ, television presenter.
oh, okay.
Uh,
I'm not familiar with Lauren Laverne. Yeah. Well, he's throwing in it's like he's leading off with the diss track, which is very interesting move, and especially with this cadence of this track is an interesting way to lead off because I believe Grant Showbiz's track list starts with the next track we're going to get into, the Wolf Kid Alt Man, which is much more like a track that you would typically lead off an album with, like a traditionally chosen track for any band to lead off with a rocking song. And they don't do that here, which is it's a cool choice too. I kind of like to lead off with more rocking, but this works just as well in a
I was
different
gonna
form.
say Mark certainly doesn't.
No, he doesn't, which
They're
is
not.
it's much more of a fall album because it is
Yeah.
this. Yeah. Yeah. So let's get into Wolf Kid Man.
Reputation is gone. You're in the clear, boy. Every day you're alive. You persevere, boy. Wolf for kiddos, man. Wolf for kiddos, son. Where is your mom? Your power is gone. Every moment of truth is there to stay. Somewhere up in your ear, the vibrating frenzy. Wolf for kiddos, man. Wolf for kiddos, son. Where is your mom? Your power is gone. You start to walk. Where are you going?
That's what I'm talking about. Like this one and the next handful of tracks just seem like almost carryovers of from the previous lineup with these guys and with the dudes. It just has that feel.
Yeah,
And
it's got
so
the heavy almost I like classic rock, but like almost like hard rock, like just
mhm.
chugging through.
Yeah. The mix is great. The guitar tone is great where it's like just totally like a turned up Vox amp. Just got that bite, that chiminess, but that bite to it. Yeah, it's like even the bass has a great tone where it's like kind of a top end bass that cuts through the mix very powerfully. And Even in the song, he says, "Your power is gone. You know, where is your mom? Where you're babbling frantic, somewhere up in your ear. Your arms limp at your sides. You've got to embrace this." Yeah. And what do you think about the wolf kidult though?
Yeah, like a kidult is like a kind of like a fairy tale, or like it's an adult who acts like a kid.
Yeah.
So I
But
don't
they're a man.
know.
They're a man.
They're a man. They're yeah. So yeah, like where's your mom? Even though you're an adult, huh?
Is yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Y-
know if it's like a jab at somebody.
Yeah. And then at the end it has an excerpt, like a tape recording from your favorite, The Twilight Zone. A little outro, which is cool too, because it says it basically is saying, "You put me to work at once. I think we can save the courier. How can I put you to work? I can't even pay my bar tab." And that's kind of saying it all there, right? "Well, that's simple. I'll waive the salary until you're in the black." "That's crazy. I might never be in the black." "Well, it's a chance, but it's better than anything you have now." And so it's like you can't be taken care of, like even like the most minimal kind of responsibilities. And so it's kind of you're going further and further into the debt because you can't take care of those little things that are kind of having influence on your life. But it is what it is. I like the idea of the wolf kid old man too, because it's almost like the wolf man, but it's not it's supposed to be intimidating, but then it has like this underlying t- feeling
Yeah.
of like,
Intimidating presence, but then once you like
yeah,
see it,
yes,
you
yeah.
see it up close, like you're like, oh, you're
You
kind of
see it in action. Yeah.
you're more pathetic than you are scary.
Yes. Yeah. Going into a shop, your arms limp at your sides. You've got to embrace this. That is fucking hilarious and really good way to just like visualize this character just not really sure of what they're you got to embrace like you don't have the cash to do anything. Why are you even in the shop? You know, you have no power. You're just babbling fucking little pup.
Yeah, but then he's got his son with him too, though. He's like, you persevere, boy. Every day of your life, you persevere. Like,
I think that's him talk. I think that's even Mark. I take it as Mark talking to that character, like, "Yeah, you're just a little boy. You know, you're just a little boy. You don't have the fucking tenacity to like do something about this."
oh, do you? I feel like there's two. Feel like there's the wolf kid old man and there's the wolf kid old son. Like his
Oh,
son's
okay.
with him. Like there's two of them, and like, and he's just like, yeah, your dad's definitely pathetic, but you've got every day. You're in the clear. You're in the clear, boy. Every day of your life, you persevere. Get away from this guy. You got it.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah, you can be like a true wolf. You can use your bloodline, to whatever advantage you want. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Show your fangs. I like that. That's fun. Let's get into the next track, which is more of what we're talking about. 50-year-old man.
From my analysis of quickly going through all the albums on fall.org and asking AI was unsuccessful, but I believe this is the longest fall song ever recorded, 11 minutes and 33 seconds.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a good little trivia. That's a good little trivia fact. It doesn't really feel like that, does it? Because it does have an interlude that is also kind of a unique thing for the fall in instrumentation. So let's listen to a little bit of that.
yeah. You're not real boy. I say you're not real boy. You're a Jew. You're a council and I spank little shit. I'm a 50-year-old man and I like it. I'm gonna 3 foot rock your heart on, but I'm too busy to use it. I'm a 50-year-old man. I'm a 50-year-old man. That's what I'm saying, man. You can't. Yeah, get out.
You love to see it, and you love to hear it. The Fall with a banjo. Now, how many strings you think are on that banjo?
5 probably on that one.
I love that like Steve Pringle said when he turned 50, he would just be blasting this around his house the entire day, and his kids were like, "Dad, what the fuck is going on? What is going on? Is this what we're gonna have to look forward to now that you've reached the ripe middle age?" I mean, this is fucking great. I love this song. I love the rockiness.
Yeah, and even the randomness, the 11 minutes of it, the banjo,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
this is one that Grant significantly cut down.
Yes. He also moved it way back in the track list.
Which it almost feels like that. It almost you don't want it back there, but it almost feels like it could be an ending song, just a kind of
Oh yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Definitely.
just kind of go out on it, let it roll. But yeah, I mean, I don't know everything about it. It's almost just like we always kind of say, but it's an homage to himself. You think he's really got that 3 foot long hammer that he's been dealing with his whole life? Is that
He's been
what
dealing with? He's been
Yeah.
dealing with?
Yeah, I mean, 3 foot long, that's too much. You don't want that
No,
much.
no, God, no. No one wants that much. That's like an unwieldy. That's you gotta have a permit to carry a 3 foot
Yeah.
fucking hammer around. Uh, or is that just what happens when you turn 50? You just
Yeah.
elongate
It just keeps
hammer.
getting longer. It just keeps up with the balls. It just keeps stacking down lower and lower.
But I do. It brings a smile to my face every time when he says, "I'm 50-year-old man and I like it." Like just like the callback to like Alice Cooper's "I'm 18 and I like it." You know, like
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
it's just like that's really fun. This is really beautiful. It's like no, I liked when I was 18, but I love when I'm 50. I love when I'm 50.
And I mean, not that he wasn't doing most of the things he always wanted in his life, but I mean, at this point, he was truly just letting his freak flag fly and just doing whatever he felt like.
Oh, totally. And that's why I like that he's saying, "I'm a 50-year-old man and I like it," like, as like a little kind of a fun, like,
Yeah.
tinge to
What are you gonna
growing
do
old.
about it?
What are you gonna do about it? Yes, when he says, "When are you gonna do about it?" That's even more fucking great and hilarious to me because it's like, yeah, now I got all, like, the reasoning behind all of my actions prior to this, all of my the 50 years of like of education and experiences to really just use it to my advantage in whatever form. And what about
I
throwing Steve Albini in there?
Yeah, I mean, I remember when he died and we were going we jumped ahead quite a bit to this song and we're listening to it and like I mean, obviously we couldn't place it because we weren't there yet, but like,
Yeah.
they still don't know what he's talking about. Nobody really seems to. Like you're in collusion with the trains. Um,
Yes. That's
yeah,
great. I mean,
he's in
I don't
collusion
know.
with the Virgin Trains. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, he, Mark mentioned him in an interview once where I think maybe Albini talked trash about him, the fall selling out with the electronic stuff. With like, I'm sure like I don't know, maybe it was Code Selfish. I don't really know what he was talking about, but like,
Yeah, I think Steve Albini kind of fell off. He was a big fall head, and then he fell off the bandwagon or just got occupied. I mean, basically, it was around the years when he was becoming like the in demand producer. So he probably just working so much, he probably just fell off of like following the fall. And I think that was some of it. But then he got back into it and he was like, oh, this is like, he's back here. So I think that had something to do with it. Your inclusion with the trains. And then also like at one point he says something about a third of the securities are held up in something. And that's like, it's like all like bad investments. It's like kind of like it's like a middle-aged kind of thing where it's like bad investments, but I'm trying to get it like in some other form. There's even a dark tinge to it where it's like the collusion with the trains, I kind of put it as like almost some sort of mobsterish kind of thing, right? Like it's kind of like a seedy kind of side hustle where he's doing something to get like some side cash. That's all what I read into it. It doesn't
yeah,
seem like anyone really knows, but it doesn't
yeah. What
really
they
matter.
said, Virgin Railways was a British railway that was always late.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so my guess is they were trying to work together. Albini fucked it up and pissed Mark off somehow, and here we are.
Yeah, like the way that it starts too is like I think he says, like, "The computer doesn't work for me," and then later on, he says, "I'm the type of guy who knows what is on a CD." And then they lay lecture to me on turning rubbish out while shouting themselves out of existence, and that's him just, like, straight up, like, saying, "You don't know what I'm fucking trying to go for. Like, you don't even fucking understand, mate. I'm fucking going for something that's totally outside of your whole peripheral vision. Like, I'm all the way in the corner over here doing this. You'll get it
Yeah,
eventually."
and I think it always m- made Mark way more upset. Like when he respected somebody and then they kind of shit on what he was doing. Like he took it so much more personally. Like I think he could slag off any shit writer that he didn't respect,
Mhm.
and didn't think twice about him. He's not not going to give him the time of day. But like
Yeah.
if he thought you knew what was going on and you were doing cool things and then you didn't show him that respect back, it really pissed him off.
Yeah, it kinda goes back to the Loaded magazine, right? It kind of is like some of that same sentiment in this song. And even the way that it ends, I'm just gonna read these lyrics for the way that it wraps up because it's so good. "If they cared so much, why don't they try eating some of those cardboard cutouts of themselves?" And they stuff the complimentary catering down their neck, do the 5th retake of their attempt to be scruffy on a train, and then go back to counseling and communicating. So, like him trying to say, like, they're trying to go for this vibe of, like, lo-fi, edgy, right? Like dirty, grimy, but then they go back to the counseling and communicating like they're very proper, and, like, it's like, you can't have both. You have to live it or not live it, and I think that's what he's getting at there, and then, "I'm an inferior product, man. I'm an inferior product mix. They call me the bad head. Don't you ever forget it." And here's the fade out, fade out, fade out. Yeah, that's the way to end a 11-minute song is when the lead singer is like, "Fade out, fade out, fade out, fade out, fade out." It's
This is
good.
actually the end. This is actually the end this
No,
time.
I'm ready to end it. I'm ready to end it. Yeah, that's fucking great. And this is also a song that has been, I'm pretty sure, identified as a song that Rob Barbado kind of like pretty much instigated or at least wrote and doesn't get any credits on, which I totally hear because it is so bass centric, and then everything on top of it is great. But then the choice to do the banjo in the middle is lovely. It's just great. You know, some people might say, I might not. There's not a necessity to put that in an 11-minute track or extend it to 11 minutes with that. But I think it's just a great thing to have right there.
Right there. Yeah, third track it's not right there for me, but I love the whole thing. I loved all 11 minutes of it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And I think it was better because I mean, we have whined about the songs that were one song that they split into two songs. So
Right.
they finally put it together for us, and here we are complaining about that too a little bit. But no,
Yeah.
it's just a great. I'm surprised he gave anybody credit for it on it, honestly.
Yeah, I'm surprised that too, besides himself, because
Yeah.
it is so lyric heavy, and it's a lot of lyrics, and they're all good as you would expect, and it's something that you can just re-listen to. It's just totally re-listenable as a song like that.
Well,
It's
they're just gonna have to come back and hear it from Rob himself if he actually wrote this one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And also, we gotta say something here too, because Imperial Wax Solvent is what I've been reading from other fall army members of their perceptions of the fall catalog. A lot of them say that this is the last good fall album, like solid. And I know for a fact, like kind of listening forward more, that for me, that's not the case. But I can understand why that that is a perspective because it is like so cohesive. Like even going through those first three tracks that we've just gone through, it's already like a cohesive those three tracks by themselves as an EP, you're like, thank you. Like that's a great you have a slow one, you have a rockin' one, and then you have a totally off the wall one. Right? What else do you need? An experimental one, which maybe we'll get in the back end. Who knows? Should we have some fun now?
I think so. I've been duped.
Just you kids in their bedroom, war at home, watching bits at audience in color on. Every time there's orange on TV, the graphs are saying good news to me. Every time there's orange on TV, the graphs are saying good news to me. I've been duped. I've been duped. I've been duped. Word for one, Dr. Richard Hume is retiring. South of France, I'm French soldier, suffering. I have been duped. Every time there's orange on TV, the graphs are saying good news to me. Every time there's orange on TV, the graphs are saying good news to me. I've been duped. I've been duped. Glitter balls, late night on. No old roots, just gambling. I've been duped. I've been duped. I've been duped. Have you been duped? Every time there's orange on TV, the graphs are saying good news to me. Every time there's orange on TV, the graphs are saying good news to me. I've been duped. I've been duped. I've been duped. Veterans men, no warlords on. Two hairy men digging up Scotland. 6 feet under, stay up for. There's no boring, just people mumbling.
I like that little tape edit right there. That's kind of fun. Kind of cuts out, cuts back in. That's really fun. What the one that always gets me on this one is when There's the orange on TV. You have any thoughts about that?
I was thinking, no, I don't. I mean, the graphs. I mean, is there some sort of graphs that had orange on it that they're looking
Well,
at?
well, see, yes, because people are saying that that she's saying every time there's orange on TV, the graphs are saying good news to me. But I thought I don't know. I hear her saying the cops. And I don't think
Oh,
that's like a thing that they would, you know, that's
use.
American. Yeah,
Yeah,
that they would use. But there's orange on TV, and I think even Danny No said something about like orange being the orange jumpsuits that like prisoners wear, and it's like that makes
yeah.
a little bit more sense to me that the cops would be saying good news. There's like
They,
fucking seeing some prisoners going to a
well, they.
prison bus or whatever.
Yeah, there
I
was
don't know.
also they're also kind of grasping here. It's Danny and the mates are saying that they used a part of a Curious Orange for a show this morning with Richard, not Judy. And so they're saying maybe every time they hear it, they're going to get paid their royalties.
Hmm.
So,
So every
so
time they
it's good.
see,
It's
yeah,
good. It's good for them. They're
yeah,
going to get paid a little bit of money because Curious Orange was just played on TV. It's good
yeah,
news to
that
me.
makes okay, that makes sense. In the graphs, I like the idea. I'm not hearing graphs, but I like the idea of the graphs on TV, like a news program showing a graph in the orange. And it's like something that, orange is not a color if you see it on a graph where it's usually signifying a good thing.
Yeah.
Like
So
usually if you're
this.
the orange, it's like danger zone.
Yeah, they
Like
say
that's good news for this person.
they also say instead of cops that it might be brass. So if they're talking about like top brass, like the record executives, the
Mm.
record company is saying good news.
Yeah, I could see that. And what about when it says the way it starts, which is we're at home, no real footage, just you kids in their bedroom. We're at home watching vids. Like this is also the time of like the internet where you could find war videos that are not like the stuff that is going to be on news outlets like like current day where they'll show like fucking dead bodies in the street for fucking all they care just be to get more viewers, but it's kind of like at home in your bedroom you can have access to like what's going on. That's kind of what I get from that first section in some
Y-
form.
Yeah, it could even be like video games though too, right? Like
Mhm.
just playing war games at home, battling
Yeah,
each other in their bedrooms.
yeah, yeah, I could see that too, and that feels real to them as being in like a real confrontation. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? This is 2008. I mean, yeah, this is right at the heyday of all of those online, LAN party games where everybody was Halo and all that stuff where you were like just starting to play together
And maybe that
war games.
and maybe that's part of the being duped is where it's like it looks, I mean, we know looking back on 2008 war games where it's like that doesn't look real, as compared to relatively to today's like really hyper realistic graphics and things like that. But even like Mark just like looking at something like that where there's like I've been duped. Like I thought that was real. I thought that was a real Nazi being shot. I thought that
Uh,
they were coming back. Getting excited in some form from some sort of
yeah,
fucking
you know,
army battle happening.
yeah, he was hiding his uniform in the back of the closet. He doesn't want to.
Let's hope not. Let's hope that was kind of
Away
given
from,
to the props department after those videos. And then at the end, what about the two hairy men digging the grave in Scotland, 6 feet down,
yeah.
6 feet under?
Again, nobody knows what the hell he's talking about in the song, which is just more the better because I don't know,
Yeah.
with the police sirens, it's got that kind of like LA vibe to it where you're just like
It does. It does.
loud background noise on top of the lyrics.
But there's something about Elaine's delivery. I don't know how you feel because Elaine delivering a whole song, it's really good. I mean, it's really like a nice change of pace for the band in the middle of the album to have her sing an entire song. And the band has the gang vocals in the background, which is great backing her up. But the way that she says I've been duped is just like so lovely. Like, you know,
yeah,
it's like playful, but at the same time, it's like it's having a laugh, but it's also kind of like, man, you got me again.
yeah. I like her accents and lyrics, and on top of all these fall songs, I like that he didn't give her any credit for it either.
I know that's yeah, I know she's all over it. Performer doesn't get credit, right? It's just like about conception, kind of. All right, let's wrap up the side A of Imperial Wax Solvent with a cover, Strange Town.
Like your plants.
There you go.
Yeah, nice.
We going out on track 5?
That's what it says, mate. LP
Alright.
version, track 5.
Okay.
That's what we're listening to. I'm spinning it.
Strange town. People here around don't ever smile. I've been here 2 years. I've been looking around, trying to find out. It seems that all people think about is calling people out. My garden is overgrown, and the weeds are creeping up on my home.
Yep, that's Strange Town. That's a cover of the Groundhogs, song written by Tony McPhee in 1970, and that I like. I like all the sounds on that. I like how everything sounds. I just for some reason this song doesn't hit for me. I
No?
d- no, I don't know what it is. I even like the lyrics of like, you know, there they only think about calling people out, and I can't be there to get the locks out of your hair. French windows don't open anymore, and somebody's kid is talking at my door. Branches growing up to 10 foot high. This is Strange Town. People here around don't ever smile. Like I like this. I like this, and even it's kind of funny to have the contrarian nature of there they only think about calling people out when Mark was just calling people out in the first track of this album, and he's just going against himself, which you kind of expect too. But yeah, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize that it was cover for a while.
Yeah.
Just because, like you said, the lyrics are all Mark's
Yeah,
wheelhouse, and the sounds are great.
yeah. I think
Yeah,
when
I
he
mean,
takes liberties, it's even better with the
sure,
words.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, you could see, that heavy blues sound. I mean, maybe it's just that it was too fall esque for you to begin with.
Yeah, maybe. I just think that I don't know. I think it's not fall enough because I think it has all these cool ideas to it, but it doesn't sound fall. And it is like a garage. They've turned it. I mean, the groundhogs are garage rocking, but there's something about this that it's like maybe it's just a little too slow. Maybe that's all it is. If it
Yeah.
was like if it was like at a higher tempo, it would have been a little bit more of that fall dynamic, but then the way that he wraps it up with "By the bin in the yard, the pink iPod is spewed out." Isn't that great?
Yeah, I couldn't imagine Mark liking the iPod.
No, 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 no.
What do you mean? The cassette is best. You know this.
Yeah, and also like the pink iPod's gonna be lost, right? That's gonna be falling out of the carrier bag. That's not gonna be. I also don't think of Mark as a headphone guy. Do you?
No.
Like put in the fucking
Putting
little
in the little earbud thingies?
put some
No.
AirPods in? Fuck no. Hell no. He wants to be in the environment. He wants to be totally connected to whatever environment he's in. Even if he doesn't want to engage with the environment, if he's in a bad mood, he's definitely still not going to put headphones on, right? Even if it's like a deterrent for people to talk to him. I don't see him doing that at all.
No, well, I think either he doesn't want the deterrent not to talk to him, but he also I think most of his life is spent listening to the sounds around him. So to
Yeah.
be totally
Cut off.
excluded from that
Yeah.
is warping his world.
That's right. Well, that's the side A, and that was really fun. But let's get into the album art before we get into. We got 6 more tracks on side B, so let's get into this album artwork first. And this is something that looks familiar to me, kind of in the composition. Does it remind
Yeah,
you of anything?
it does, and it's the same artist. One
Yeah.
Anthony Frost from way back in the day. We're going all the way back, almost 2
Extricate.
decades to 1990. Extricate. I
Yeah.
still haven't been able to determine if this is actually new artwork or if this is just
Oh, that's a good
like
question.
zoomed in. I can't find.
Huh.
I
That's
don't
a good
see that
question.
level of green anywhere, so I think it's a new piece.
Yeah, I would wonder that too if the artworks were made specifically for by Anthony for the fall albums or if they were paintings composed and then those were chosen, right? That's a good
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good kind of inquiry.
Or
I
yeah,
I
or
like
is
this.
even this could be just like a second piece or third piece of things that he made at the time that they
Mhm.
didn't use, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, we got this other thing in here that we can use."
Yeah. What do you think about the layout here? Because we got this painting by it's abstract as we saw on the extricate, but it's even more kind of the paint splattered, and it does, like you're saying, look like a zoomed in portion of a painting. I for one think it's great, and I always like that his style with the band's music. It's just like really great, fitting perfectly cohesively together. I feel like they went a little bit too big with the font on this. With the fall, I mean, the fall is fine. The Imperial Wax fall is fine. The text is so, you know, very straightforward, pounding. I guess it kind of works with the sound because it does have that kind of directness to the sound of this album. It just kind of takes away from the artwork itself, which is very there's so much action in the way that this paint is on here that I like, and even you see that little black
The the
spot?
the Energizer Bunny?
Yeah, it looks like a bunny rabbit popping through that, which is kinda cool too because Mark's kind a pet name for Eleni, I think, is sometimes the little rabbit. That's cool. What about the back though? We'll
Yeah,
flip it over.
or even like the little birds almost in the corner, the black birds kind of flying around the top.
Oh, the little paint splatters of blue that look like little
Are they blue?
birds. Yeah,
Yeah, blue,
yeah,
black. Yeah, and it's one of my favorite for sure.
yeah, it's totally
It's almost like
intriguing.
a a what is the thing that they hold called?
Yeah.
That not an easel? No, what is like the
Oh,
you
the
know the
stand that
bob?
holds the canvas?
That's an easel, but what is like the wooden board that they mix the paint on?
Oh, the palette.
A palette, yeah, it's almost like a Bob Ross palette of him like mixing up colors and like, oh, I wanna make this. I want this green. I'm gonna add a little bit of black to this yellow. Oh, there we go. Now a little blue.
Uh, I would love a Bob Ross painting that was on a fall album cover, but they would have to add like one kind of disturbing element to it. Like, like it's like a beautiful picture of a meadow or with a mountain in the background with a little pond or creek next to a little house. But then like right by the creek side, maybe there's like a garbage bag, like a full garbage bag that
Yeah,
maybe
you
is
just
in the shape of a body or something or
yeah,
something
and I
weird.
like
Uh,
a park garbage can just like spewing over with like empty beer cans or something.
and iPods.
iPods, pink iPods.
Pink iPods spewing out of a side turned over garbage can. Yeah, that's good. On the back, we got the track list. We got some credits at the bottom, but we got another painting, which is really cool too. And this almost looks kind of like a mountain scape or even like a mesa. I'm just trying to put some sort of figurative
Yeah,
thing in there,
I
but
see I see the mountain. I also see a almost not like a silhouette, like the dark blue is the hair, the light blue was the attempt at the face, and then he just gave up and just started splattering red because he's just so frustrated that it wasn't working out the way he wanted it to.
this kind of reminds me of something I was reading the other day, which is an interview with Billy Childish, the UK garage rock artist and artist in general, visual artist. And he was saying like he made this group of artists that was he was talking about being anti-conceptual art because he was like going to school and he's like all these conceptual artists didn't have good concepts. He's like basically conceptual art is filled with a bunch of concepts that are not that great. So figurative art is where I want to be. And it just kind of reminds you of that, like putting something in there, it kind of changes the whole thing. I mean, I'm totally into some completely abstract paintings. I've completely into it, but I thought it was interesting to hear his perspective of like, I got to get into this Van Gogh style figurative thing
Yeah.
because I can't really get into the concepts because the concepts are not that great. Okay, that's side A. If you like it, let's get on to side B, mates, because we got a lot more to get into. We are the fall.
We are the best.